So before I go any further, I have to say this because I feel quite strongly about this. There was a vid I did recently, really recently, and it was he's not wrong. And one individual made a comment that I completely, well, in many aspects, 80 odd percent of it disagree with. And it had a love heart from me. And I can absolutely assure you that previous to that apparent love heart, there was 0 thumbs up. It now has 2. And I'm thinking, did people think that I absolutely thought, hey, that's a great comment? Look, sometimes I don't. I mean, I would love lots of different emojis, like rather than just love heart, something a wee bit more comprehensive than that, yeah? The other thing is, I don't always get to see people's comments. In fact, I said recently to somebody that I hadn't seen the comment they made for that they'd done something like 2 or 3 days previous. And I said that to them and, sorry, I didn't see the comment. But there's no way I was thumbing up or love hearting one comment. So whoever works that one out, know this. All I'm going to say is, why is it that you seem to be chuffed that the internet's going to be shut down soon, and that the only book worth reading is book 1? Are you really helping things? In all honesty, especially when I'm trying to say to people, you should be reading more books. And I sometimes wonder, are you probably one of the best astroturfers I've ever come across? It's a fair comment. But so this, from empty fields to surrounded by new builds. Couples say they are facing a nightmare over plans for nearly 1,000 new homes next to their isolated cottage. And I don't know how you want to define isolated, but it's not this, really. Don't get me wrong, look, rough approximation area-wise, it's probably going to be roughly about somewhere here, ish, from what I've read. But this was arable farmland. I've long said, have you noticed round about Edinburgh lately? Oh my God, seriously. Even when places like, let me think. Yeah, I mean, round about Dander Hall, Gilmerton. What used to be actually farmland is now all bloody these new builds. And this is arable farmland just getting chunked and chunked and chunked and chunked away. Seriously. I noticed it round about, Barnton Gate. And a whole area. Yeah. That used to be all arable farmland. A lot of it. Yeah. And you could apply this to any town or city that you're round about or in. And people are sleepwalking into this like they really are. They don't make the connection. How do you get them to eat the bugs? You go after arable farmland. You attack farmers. You destroy the intergenerational history at their very DNA of being the best people to be on land, arable farmland, and make the best of it. Anybody with an ounce of common sense would be out their way to support it, but somewhere in socialism came this. All farmers are really wealthy and rich. Even although the last 20 years, the suicide rate of farmers, I used to cover it in the past on channels that no longer exist. Did anybody seem to give a fuck? Honestly, because the brain dead go, hey, I've been programmed that every farmer is some rich bastard that's fucking rolling in it at the expense of the fucking working man. That mindset, jeez. I'll say it again. It would be the late 80s, I'm studying a course, and the bursary at that time hadn't come through. And to get extra money, I went to do one of these 1 week induction courses into the post office. And at least in some reflection, I should have bloody well stayed there, as opposed to the naivety, even then, of college or university courses in many aspects. In all honesty, seriously. Yeah. But I was like, I did the course, I got in. I got into the post office. And then I'm like, nah, I have to go back to my course. But with that wage for the week, some people would go, oh, Scott, was that on false pretenses? No, I was weighing up the pros and cons at the time. And in all honesty, on reflection, I probably chose wrong. Good bunch of people that I met, actually. Yeah. At the time, it was a place called Brunswick Road. But I could already see mistakes within the post office. Considering how much union dues, they should have employed the finest lawyers in London, for argument's sake. I don't think any of that happened. And I would argue, all you need to do is look at the union base, and there's a common obligation there. Because were the Royal Mail not fucked over? I mean, remember, go from early 80s when there was 2 posts a day. So how much is it for just to put a fucking letter now? Seriously. And they sold it all off, remember, for a fraction of what it was worth. But it's done so many times because people have been slowly but surely programmed into socialism, which always leads historically to communism, which always leads to lots of people die. Seriously. And when you look at the history of communism, it was literally sponsored by the bankers. That's what the socialists will never fucking connect with. They'll never. And I just say, how about read Anthony C. Sutton? Or if you can't be arsed doing that, how about look at some of his vids that you can still find to this day at the moment online. Zero comeback on these. Zero. Holy shit. Fuck. And that's only the ones that can actually, in fair play to them, go and read or actually watch. Because most people will not make the connection there either. Ah, fuck it. Anybody who's managed to get a place on their own, well, they're not part of us. We're global citizens. I am literally seeing whole areas being destroyed and replaced by shitty fucking housing, vastly overpriced, and soon to be full of, not you and I. Top comment, the boatmen want houses, so our fields will go. I mean, it's the same with the solar panels, the fucking Burley windmill, bird blenders, Absolutely, this is about eugenics. And be assured, it's not because they fucking love the migrants. It's not about that. It's about dumbing down the West to a point it's easier to just fucking destroy whole populations with much lower IQs. Look around you. And I'll speak to you soon.